I gave my book away for free, but was it worth it? There's this little website called Royal Road. It's a website where authors and readers can gather, and it's supposed to be a place where amateur authors can start to get readership and viewers. It's an interesting little idea, and at first I was really hesitant. I've been really into like traditional publishing and querying, but as I finished the first draft of my book in 2019, and I went on to finish the third draft just this year, 6 years later, I realized the road to publishing a novel traditionally is a very long road. And so I was like, why not give this a try? I've written a few other novels at this point, and I'm still revising, still trying to find agents and editors. It's like, this might be a good thing to do in between, gain some traction, gain some following. Maybe I could get like a Patreon member or two and maybe start being able to devote more time to writing. At least that's kind of the idea I was sold on, but now I'm not so sure. So we're going to start off with the cons and then the pros and then what you should do if you're considering posting on this website as well. First, the cons. I would say that the first cons are these advertisements. They are everywhere. Ad blockers do not stop them. They just somehow they accomplish the impossible. Things that YouTube and newspapers have been trying to do, Royal Road has done it. They have figured out how to get past ad blockers. Kind of crazy in my opinion. This is the most popular book on Royal Road. It's called Mother of Learning. It has a whopping 24 million views. That is an insane number of views. But you'll see why that kind of doesn't add up later. So my second gripe is the Patreon. There is no way to really make money off Royal Road. You can have a link to your Patreon, which is like cool, but you could also just kind of post that in your comments afterwards or your PayPal. And the reason I think it's weird that you don't make money from this is because there's so many advertisements on the website. And they have like 3 different tiers of subscription for premium, plus. And I think about things like YouTube and blogs, and they can usually hook you up with something where it's like, okay, per 1,000 views on this webpage or this chapter, we will give you $10 or $5 or even $1. And that's pretty average. That's more of like a sponsorship type thing. And so I just think it's a little funny to me that there's so many advertisements, yet they just, for authors, it feels like, oh yeah, just this is really good for you. You gain a following, you can link your Patreon, whoop-de-doo, hooray, except for things get a little messy. My second gripe, let's say I want to read this most popular book, which is on Amazon, and if you want to support the author, I recommend you buy it on Amazon because in one of his blog posts recently, he said he hasn't been able to go full-time as an author still, despite getting 43 million views on his work. And his work is really good. I just finished the book series. Con number 3, anytime a reader is reading your book, they get other suggestions for books. And now this is one of the most popular books, so I don't think there's quite as many on this one, but there's still like 5 other books here for other readers. And you might think, oh, this is really good cross traction. But if you're in a library reading a book and every time you read a chapter, you stop and someone holds up 2 other books, do you want to switch to one of these 2 books? You want to switch to one of these 2 books? It gets annoying. And it also, like, you want to finish the book, and authors want you to finish their book as well. And so I do feel a little bit of like gripeness with that, like just a little like, oh, I feel like if someone were to read my book, they would at least see 30 other books by the time they like finished my first chapter. Those are my main cons with the platform, is the rampant advertisements. I feel like not fair compensation for authors, basically none. There's not very many tools for authors. You have to pay premium to see like analytics. Number 3, the platform is very saturated and people will click off your book so fast. Now let me show you my page and what I've done on here. So I did a collection of short stories and that did pretty well. It had like 1,000 views. They did about the same as each other actually. And then the book I've been publishing for free on here is Coolio Mustachio. It was the first book I wrote and this is like the 2nd to 3rd draft. And you can see that I have 1,096 views, 8 followers. I think some of them are myself just to like give myself a boost and my friends. And then you think, okay, yeah, 1,000 views. Yeah, she must be doing pretty well. Well, I don't think so. So every chapter, it shows you how many views it gets. And here's the thing. If I were to just click on one of these chapters, like let's say Descent, I click on the chapter, I just published this. And I'm like, okay, yeah, it looks good. I'm going to back arrow. that actually gives me a view. It can take a while to update, but that gives me a view. And so the view count, it can be like 20 views from the same person. It can just be a person casually clicking in and clicking out. And I feel like there needs to be at least like a 20-second click-in period before it counts as a view, because I just don't think that there's actually, like, I don't know if anyone's actually reading my story or not, because this could just be people seeing a new chapter was posted on some sort of book and they click on it, oh, okay, I'll read it later, and click out, and then they never read it. So I have no way of knowing if people are actually reading my book unless they physically type a comment on the chapter. And that has happened a couple times, but that was like on the prologue in chapter 1. So I'm just like, I'm not even sure if this is worth it. I'm not even sure if the 1,000 views actually means anything. And then I do have my Patreon linked, but I think I haven't even had any statistics of someone clicking on that link. And so I'm just a little confused, right? I did publish my book for free. I'm debating if I'm going to professionally publish this on Amazon. If I do, I think it needs like 2 more revisions and then an editor to look over it and another 2 more revisions, because it is the first book I wrote and it's pretty rough. So it's probably the time I move on. Now let's get into the pros. It is cool to be able to share your work while you're working on it as an author. I feel like an artist, you can just work on something like, oh, how does this look so far? You know, but as an author, you have to like painstakingly type for an hour to just have enough content to share. Someone else reads it and they're like, oh, there's too many typos, I can't get past it, and you have to revise it. And then by the time they read it, it's been 3 weeks and you're already writing a new project, and much less sharing a whole book with someone. So it's cool to me that I can at least like publish things I'm working on and share them with people, and they can kind of see them, and it feels like I can point people like, oh, what are you working on? I'm like, oh, actually, here's the rough draft. Here's this thing. And you can go view it out here. Do I recommend this approach? Not necessarily. If you want to be successful on the platform, you should probably do something that has been looked over by an editor. But if you want to just kind of maybe gain some following while you're working on your books and not scream into the void as much, then maybe this is a great website. It's not necessarily what they advertised it to be, where it's like, this can be your in-between step from being an amateur author to a full-time author, because just the conversion rate would be terrible. You know, if 1,000 people see your story and then 1 person buys the book, that's not a very good conversion rate. Now, the second thing I like about this platform is the forms. This is by far the best thing about this platform. Forget the writing books or anything like this. The forums is so awesome. On these forums, you have other amateur authors that are posting just general things. Some of them are like random, what's your favorite soda pop? But some of them are like, share a scene, write the favorite scene that you've shared, or like, here's some critique. Some people really want to be successful in Royal Road, so they'll post things about that. Opinions on rewriting. And this is by far the best thing. As a writer, it can be so hard to find a community or other writers to share your work. And this would be a great place to find a writing partner. I'd say maybe just write like a couple of short stories, post them on here, and then just chat in the forums. That is by far the best thing about this platform. There's still a million advertisements and I'm so sick of them. But I do think that there's a third pro, but I'm only counting it as like half a pro. Some people really like the idea of like, okay, I have this project on the road. I have promised my fans, or I've promised on it that I'm going to post it every Monday and Friday. And so now I have to at least finish 1 chapter or 2 chapters twice a week. And that's cool. And I feel like that could help keep some people accountable. But for myself, I don't have a problem with that. I write a lot and I like writing, and I don't want to post something that I'm brand new working on. I don't think that's very good for creativity. I feel like you should at least do 1 revision or 2 before you post it. And so for myself, I'm not going to post something on here that I haven't entirely finished. And so for me, that's not very helpful. Maybe it could be helpful if I was like trying to revise chapters, but when I revise chapters, I like to just do like 5 or 6 at a time, and then this whole thing just becomes like an extra step, extra hassle. Pro number 4 is you could subscribe to my YouTube channel. I know that wasn't about Royal Road, it was a little cheeky, but I have had a lot of fun. Despite all my gripes with Royal Road, I've had a lot of fun with the community. I've been taking a break because I just want to focus on my creativity, but it's been fun. I would recommend it to anyone who is writing and is serious about wanting to be an author. I wouldn't publish your work here, maybe just a couple of like samples of your work, and then maybe you just chat it up in the forums, find other authors, find reading groups, and I feel like that support I've had has been by far the best thing about this platform. Comment below your suggestions for my new outro, because I have no idea what I should do.